So he explained the bittul of David HaMelech and Moishe Rabbeinu, that not merely a bittul induced by consideration, by his boneness, but a true bittul of an oni that doesn't have to think about his matzav and think into it and make relative comparisons in order to be humbled. He just remembers who he is, and then the words of the Rebbe, Mayad Mittel Rebbe, Bocha Yivke b'mar nafsha, he cries from the bitterness of his soul. So Moshe Rabbeinu and David achieved that. Moshe Rabbeinu be'emes, not just his boneness, which was throughout his life, likewise David and Melech, but Moshe Rabbeinu on the days of his talkus, when Nistim Mimenu, Mesoiris Mayonis HaChochma, when the wellspring is closed. And then, of course, he was Zoicha to Adarab, the 50th, which is beyond. And likewise, David HaMelech, Tzomah L'chon Nafshi, when did he have the Tzomah L'chon Nafshi Dafka, B'midbar Yehuda, in the Judean desert? And he wished himself, Kein Ba Kodesh Chazisich, as the Baal Shem Tov explains, Halavai, in Kodesh I should see you as I see you now. So now he's saying this is also true of us on a Meidadika level. That this Meisim Atzmai Kishirayim, that's thinking of Reishis, missing an Aleph, and that's thinking of Sheiris Nachalosai, the remnants of his people. So this is also shaykh to everyone, even the highest madregas, even if you're holding them as by madregas. And he explains, because that's the difference between Shabbos Shuvah and the rest of the week of Shabbos, of Aseret Semeit Shuvah. We might add that this is very relevant to where we stand right now, as the famous story that Frierdiker Rebbe asked his father, Mitzvah Yom Kippur, child, Father, what now? And the Rebbe Rashab answered him, now we have to first begin to do tshuva. Erst tshuvaton. This is the Shabbos tshuva dike tshuva. At least connected. So what's the inyan? We started to learn already that the three reasons why we need to have bittul, so the third reason was that it could get blocked. But the first two reasons, number one, you have to make a keli, and number two, wasn't just make a keli. The first reason was that it comes through tzimtzum, and therefore you have to make a keli. There's the element of gevura. Everything has to come through midas adin. So we have to make a keli, because the point is that it's tailored to you. So you've got to be suited to receive it. The second one was because you need chitzonim. And the third one, because it could be blocked. He said the first two don't apply on Shabbos. He brought the Peresh Chagechem that the Eibishter says in his fury, that he will throw the dung of the korbanos of Yontev in our faces, utter rejection. But Chassidus points out it's only Peresh Chagechem, the dung of Chag, but not of Shabbos, because Shabbos is higher than all these failings. And that's why Shabbos, it's a mitzvah and oinig and achilush siyah. Because since it's the actual eating and drinking itself is pure mitzvah, it's not shaykh, it should go in the wrong place. That's where we're up to now. We said this also. Vinyan Bozeh, after Vinyan Bozeh. It's the middle of the page after number 79, which that number appears at the end of the line, the third way down. After V'inyan Bazeh. 3 lines down from 79. So now he's all to explain why there has to be this, and it's not an induced bittul, a considered bittul, but a true bittul. Because Given this was the third reason why bittul is required, because it could remain b'chinas maki bilvad, transcendent, hovering, but not penetrate the nitty-gritty of our consciousness and behavior, the dark places. Remember, he's saying that this is a yid that's not holding by dark places. He's a good boy, as we'll see. There's the Indian, as the pasuk says, the inheritance passed over our souls. Over our souls, yeah, that's the nachla. There could be a gilui that envelops a person but doesn't penetrate. Nachal, he says, Meloshen Amshocha. Could be because nachal also means a river, so it flows. So it's Meloshen Amshocha. So there is a revelation. Stream, and nachal is a stream. So there is a Amshocha, but bo b'chinas maki bilvad, it flows down to him, but it envelops him, but does not enter the pnimius. It doesn't enter the pnimius of the heart. There is an element of pnimius. He's not oblivious to it, and he's moved and lifted, but not pnimius halev. And therefore, Kadesha Tumshach and Pnimius Alev, so even such a lofty level, in order to be Nimshach and Pnimius, this is the reason number 3. There has to be this avoid of bittul. Now, so this is analogous to the bittul of Moishe Rabbeinu on the David's Istalkos and David and Melech's. How so? The reason that he has to have this bittul is only because that he should be drawn into him in a conscious way. Therefore, they move and change the Therefore, this whole avodah of bittul cannot be induced by some consideration, but really everything is fine. It's got to be a pnimis dike bittul. A real one, like Moishe Rabbeinu was broken then, as it were. And David the Melech, he was banished from the house of Hashem. He's saying Shabbos Shuvah, this Shabbos, Shuvah, the Shuvah post Yom Kippur. It has to be not that he makes himself Kishirayim. Mamash is Mamash Shirayim. How is that possible? Means this is affected Shabbos Shuvah. And al derech coming after Yom Kippur. Today is the first day of the 4 letters of Hashem's name. Last night was Koitzi Shel Yud, the stroke of the Yud. And today begins God's Nomen, said the Baal Shem Tov. They wished his name. Yud Kei Vav Kei Stam Shachav Atzmos Lamata, the highest level possible. So we're saying, back to Shabbos Shuvah, that this kind of, not induced, but emes shirayim is Shabbos Shuvah. How? Sheyoyim HaShabbos is Shabbos Shemuchach Lis b'Shivas Hayom Shmir Shavim Kippur. It has to be a Shabbos and always be in the 7 days between Rosh Hashanah and Kippur. There must be a Shabbos. Shariyef Shel L'Shivas. Rebbe has to spell it out for us. It's interesting. You can't have 7 days without a Shabbos. It doesn't leave this for us to calculate. This is not a simple matter. Lo pashut. What do you have to say this? You can't have 7 days without Shabbos. Just in Pashtos, he's saying, it's not because, well, that's how time works. Because Torah says so. Because Torah says so, that's how time works. That the 7 days between the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah and the 1 day of Yom Kippur include the whole week. The Rizal says, each day of the week we have to address the Sunday of the week, the year, the Monday of the week, and Shabbos Shuvah is the Shabbos of the year. Now, since Shabbos in general, what is it? It's enough tshuva. Shabbos is tshuva. Tshuva means to return. The whole creation is lifted, as we learned in previous Maimon ago, to what? A few Maimorim ago. Eibish's machshava from dibur inwards to machshava to shuva. Kidu is Shabbos Aishis Toshuv. The very letters of the word Shabbos are the letters Toshuv, Shuvah. Horror 83 is fascinating. It brings Teres and Dostan. And then Tanya. Okay, way before. And why bring it? Interessant. Harimuven, Shinyonesh Shabbos Shuvah. So what's Shabbos Shuvah? We're fixing all the Shabbos of the previous year. This is the highest level of tshuva. Like it says in Tanya, and get a tshuva, shekolos tshuva, the Shabbos tshuva alone. I'll explain in Tanya, right? Tshuva is oisius, toshuv hay, return the hay. Which hay? The hay of Shemavaya. So there's the lower hay, that's tshuva tato, that deals with actions and words and machshavas. And then there's tshuva law, restoring the higher hay, bina to chachma. That's not fixing anything. That's just dissolving separation, deeper and deeper. Bina, as it connects with chachma to the kudas habitul. That's in 2 seconds. Then in of Geras HaTshuva, the beer there, based on the Zayar. So he says that Shabbos is tshuva law. Allah has come tshuva the Shabbos tshuva. That's Bechlal Shabbos. So it's dafke b'simcha. And much more so Shabbos Shuvah, Kidduah, Sheyesh b'Shuvah, there be madregas in many levels in Shuvah. This is unusual. The Rebbe speaks about talks, talking to someone, high level. All of you. He did already a proper Shuvah, and he dafke, k'shemis'al, and madrega na'alis yoyser. Again, this is what the Rebbe Rashab told us to get up about Mitzvah Yom Kippur. What now? As Shuvah. Similar. Since he did Shuvah, chapte zich. Dafke because he's reached this higher level. Chapte sich shenimtze b'mayim dematzev hadorish inyan ha'shuva. Now he realizes Shuvah. Let's see the beautiful explanation. You do our beer. As there's no explanation, why are we saying slach londo in Shemon Esrei after having gone through the whole avodah of tefillah and after the avodah of krishma, and then slach londo? Should be said at the beginning of davening. Now that is that, but it's a tach nach Shemon Esrei, and likewise tach after Shemon Esrei, dafke. Start the day with, like Moishe says, wake up in the morning, yeah, dear, yes, dear, I'm sorry. Start off with the apology and then daf. And he's going through the rungs of davening. Before he davened, he should confess his sins. Like the Rebbe says in the Geras HaTshuva, he can't begin a connection to God if he's still soiled. Entering the palace soiled, clean up and come in. So what do we say? Tacham? No, dafke in Shemon Esrei. We start with such a bittul of the Ad Neisvasei Tiftach, he can't even speak. That's where he confesses. Did you read the story of my story this week? You got to read it. You got to read it, friends. Did you read it? I'm busy davening and thing. Tell him, very happy. Didn't have time to read my story. Okay, I'm not going to tell you. You must read it. This is quintessential Rebbe story. I read Yom Kippur morning. I mean, it was achana for davening. I was crying, but anybody moved by this story. So I don't want to give it away. It's so exquisite. This Litvish Yid in front of the Rebbe. What happens at the end? I just reminded because at the end he couldn't speak. He just finally, first time he couldn't speak at all. And he came for Lekach ahead of him. He came for Lekach ahead of Yom Kippur. Rebbe. That's all he could say. And you'll read the story. There's a story within a story. Both of them are friends. Read it. Share it. This is a story. These two stories took me for bring a whole sukkah up. This guy Lane tells two stories. Businessman. Sold furniture, but the second story. So now he's saying vidui. Listen to this. What's he saying al-chet now? Before davening, derech ish yoshe be'inov. I'm a good fella. Look what he says, describing you guys. That's the sin, Pel Mamish. He's a good boy. And he also does mitzvahs. He considers himself a tzaddik gomer. I mean, objectively. But then he sits down and davens. Starts to daven. He's ascending from rung to rung. But and I said that you guys, I didn't mean the downside. I meant bemis. And he's ascending from level to level of the ladder of davening. It's 4 levels. Psukat Zimra, and then Birchas Krishma, and then Amida. Ad Shemagilish Menesed comes to Amida, Kav the Kamemor, he stands there like a servant before the master. Azayroya, look at these words. He sees Eishu Rochik Melikus Betachlis Harichuk. He's distanced from the Eibush to Betachlis Harichuk. Kumayo only like a house, like a poor person should base it. His house is empty. Keinu Reikom, he's empty. From being irradiated, his soul irradiated by godliness. Forgive us, cleanse us. I don't know you have to hold by these darkers to give an explanation, give theories. But be'emes, every chassid, in a word, it means this: before davening, okay, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. Finished objectively. He's a fine Jew, a fine chassid, and does to the best of his ability and even beyond. But what's davening? Davening is when he starts to feel the likus a little bit. Now it's Eibishter, not his avodah. You start to touch and feel a little bit gilul likus. Then as he ascends from rung to rung, and the emes of likus is meir, the more insignificant he becomes. What my levels. So I'm saying a chassid that it wasn't avodah. Maybe coming to the Rebbe wasn't avodah, but that's in the Poshet, the presence of holiness. It's just when you the real deal, when you're presence of the real deal, and you appreciate that, then whatever levels one's achieved till now is absolutely, that's just my levels. What's it got to do with you? So when he starts to daven and puts on his talis and film, and he's and starts saying, and there's, at least in his seichel, he knows this. These are levels we're talking about Hashem here. That induces a whole, that naturally completely lifts him from where he started, which was with me. He woke up in the morning, what's the first thing he thought? He has to go to the toilet. Now he's entering the palace. Hashem calls him in, beckons him in. Come closer, my child, closer, closer. There is a movement again in Shabbos Shuvah. And likewise Shabbos Shuvah. This is the emes bittul. This is, the parallel to this is Moishe Rabbeinu, when Nistim Mimenu Mercedes Mayones HaChochma, broken. That's the parallel of Shabbos Shuvah for us. And David HaMelech, Tzomel Nafshi, Because he's entering and entering and entering. As a gamir the mason master kishirayim, his the bittel, his ego gets it enters deeper, it gets smaller and smaller. It's not like he's making himself. He's inducing it through a consideration. You're so close. You have to think about how insignificant you are. Per se, not when you're that close. We gave the marshal when the marriage. So he was not nice to his wife. So he apologized, etc. And he really did, and he meant it, and he fixed it, and he's a good boy from now on. And then what happens? She gives him a big hug afterwards. His shame and bittul then is way beyond anything he'd achieved till now. Dafka because of unconditional love to him. That's what he's saying. Shabbos Shuvah. Now there is now even more so Matzah Yom Kippur. After Gili Chidush B'Nefesh and the Eibish's unconditional cleansing, it's a Mishah Yom HaChaper. Let's go further, friends. This is Shuvah Yisroel. That we say after the Shabbos Shuvah. He's gone through the whole Avodah of Elul. May I slichus Rosh Hashanah. The days of slichus and Rosh Hashanah. Kvar Madreg and Nilis were holding Taka not by Yaakov. He asked Shuvah Yisroel, Ki chashalta, you stumbled. That's Yaakov. Yisroel doesn't stumble. No, Daf called him by Bechinas Yisroel. Sheboyle Shaykh Inshal Oven Mamish. He's not holding by actual sin. Kim Kishlein, he stumbles, a little hiccup. Stumbling, elsewhere Chassidus brings. He falls, the head drops a bit. Bittul Adarabah. This chashalta, this is a humbling, this is a virtuous thing. Because Mokem Tzarech Li Shuvah Yisroel. Now is Shuvah Yisroel, Adarabah, Dafke. Because he's taka holding. He comes to the level. He stumbled, he faltered. He's not so confident. Doesn't come with this whole as do. I'm here. Given Shemargish because on the contrary, now he feels the distance. That's because of the hug. That's because of the closeness. Canal. And that's going to answer also. That answers why it says Shuvah Yisroel. That's why it says Ki chashalta b'vinecha. Now he has an answer. What's the adavai lekecha? Lo too, not until. Return ye to adavai lekecha. Ad daike. What's the ad? Ad doesn't put a cap on it. Ad shuloshen nitzchias. As in Le'olam Void. K'mayani Avayalosha Nisi. The eternal Hashem. Why would he bring, as I just said, Le'olam Void? This pasuk doesn't have the word ad altogether. Akaboni wants to say to ad Havayalikecha. This is Dani Avayalosha Nisi. The ad Havayalikecha, not enough Havaya itself, but Havayalikecha Shavaya Yilikecha. To draw it into a pnimius, your God, your personal God. That's when he comes. Adrab. It's when he realizes and he knows and he is. And Adrab is connected, Havaya and Alikecha. Then he has the recognition, the Chashalta B'vinecha. He's humbled. He's humbled. He doesn't stand so erect and so. He stands with a bittul. His head held high, but at the same time with a tremendous bittul. The soldier walks. What do they say about the soldier? Why does he have a neck? What does he need a neck for? His hands and feet. to put the gun on it. The gun has to hang on something. There's a head. And he walks, marches erect. Why? Because what he's representing, what he's connecting, not him. So this answers also, what was the question, friends, on Khoy Mochem Dvarim? What was the shaila of the mind? We're looking back giving the mind. Take words. What was the shaila? You can look it up if you don't remember.
It's like another tough, but what's...
Yeah, Vidur is like secondary. Vidur is primary in Shuvah. The Nakud of the answer is that's Shuvah Tato. But not in Shuvah Ilah. It's a different kind of Khoy Mochem Dvarim, as he says. In the low level of Shuvah, you got to spell out what you did and fix it. But he brings to the Tzemach Tzedek. Kill destroy, not kill, he says, melt and neutral, dissolve the damage you did. And you got to articulate it in words, and your ears should hear it. That's Shuvah Tato, the basic Shuvah. But he was talking Shuvah Yisroel. So what's the words here? He's going to say, so we obviously at this level of tshuva, not talking about the regular confession, which is required to dissolve the gufa klippa, the actual klippa. Shekol zed is talking about the tshuva, but the shlifnei. He took care of that already. Tshuva tato. He's done with sinning. Being there, done that. Exposed. The tshuva here is really happening here in the heart. So what are the words, the vidui? Still the pasuk says take words, because you got to take that, what are the words here? And permeate all the in the heart, divides to all the limbs of the body, it pumps out the blood everywhere. It's happening in here, it sends very deep. Now bring it into all the limbs of the body, that's the dvarim. That's kind of secondary because it's a natural consequence of the tshuva, not the critical vidui that you've got to. The person's hesitant to say the vidui. He doesn't want to hear what he said. Saying, okay, I won't do it anymore. Say it. So that's a vidui which you got. It's front and center. But here it's a vidui where you have the pnimius and the heart. Now let it flow into Evodim and irradiate the whole neshama, your whole life, your whole behavior. So it's secondary because it's a consequence. It should translate. You have the Nakuda. You don't have to accomplish anything new. The regular video is something new. Fix it. But here we have to bring it down to the Pil Mamish. So much so that down in the world. Good morning, guys. We're going to finish in a minute. What do you think of Madregas we're getting? Maybe this is the bottom line. We're not speaking in Yonim. This is the whole Kavanah, the whole divine intent. That therefore, that this Shuvah from the Pnimius Alev, it's a Shabbos Dikit Shuvah, it's a Simcha Dikit Shuvah. Should come down all the way down into the world. We should draw into the world Dani Havaya Leishanisi, the eternal, unchanging God. That's the words. Malchus. The king rules through words. So the words are there, articulated, communicated. Share it. Share it. That's partially what the words are. Like we said yesterday. That his kingdom, his malchus, should be manifest on everything. Memshala. Memshala here means, listen, what do you think of thing coming, friends? Malchus is, guys, I know you just know about this. Because this was front and center of our Tfilis Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. Of the Tfilis Hamidah. We implored God, Malchusei Bakal Mashallah, that his kingdom, his presence should rule over all, and all should know that he's the creator. The beautiful, exquisite words there. Now listen what this means. Mashallah means Mamshallah Shibal Korcha. Mamshallah means despite you. Now listen to this. This, despite your resistance, it's not for the Jew. That's not for us. Because a Yid, we naturally want God's truth. We naturally want actually to lose ourselves in Him and to bring that down, that His truth be expressed in every aspect of our life. That's for the Jew. Ella. But know this, friends, the world has a natural resistance. A Yid doesn't. Yesterday's story at the airport. Everybody was there. No one had to be convinced. Guy saying Kaddish, he's a secular Jew, doesn't daven, doesn't believe in God. Who cares? He needs Kaddish, he shows up. The rest of the world is not like this, because the rest of the world is a creation of God, and the Shom is a part of God. That's what the world is saying. You don't belong in the world. You're aliens. 100% true. Then the Neshama is a part of God sent down there on the Shlichus. The rest of the world is a creation. And creation has this resistance. Survival. Me. So the truth has to be said with the greatest unconditional truth. And then the resistance melts. Bakol Mashallah, we are saying in the prayers. And how is that? When a Jew says with confidence, he does not have to give explanations. Yisroel belongs to us. The Eibishter gave it. Say this be'emes, and the world, the resistance melts. Gone. Because it's a nivra. It's a creation. And a nivra needs, this is the way it is. Let's finish the Maimer. That's what the Rebbe is begging. Just Jewish pride. Don't apologize. Say what it is. The world knows we're the chosen people. The world knows this is the Holy Land. It's not another state. And the world, as I said yesterday, the world is mystified why we're not saying it. The moment we do, over. So when you have to do it's a Gemara, when the king is traveling, and there's a mountain in the way. The king says, remove it. And it happens. Now, who is the mountain? Starting with the Yetzer Hara. Without repeating the whole Gemara, the Yetzer Hara. It says, we'll just repeat it briefly. It's very important teaching. On Judgment Day, the tzaddikim will cry and the sinners will cry, looking at the Yetzer Hara. The tzaddikim will cry, they say, look, the Yetzer Hara, there's this mountain, and we were able to overcome it. I can't believe it. And the sinners will cry, it's a thin hair. How could we not resist it? But the point is that the Yetzer Hara needs to be shouted at. The Yetzer Hara is no debates. You say the emes and he melts. Because he's a creation of God. And the creation of God in the face of the Creator cannot resist. The Neshama is a part of God. Doesn't need to be shouted at. You don't have to bang the table and say Yisroel is ours. Everybody, the Jew, he deeply knows. You don't have to bang the table and say, this guy needs a minyan and you're Jewish, and give a whole explanation why you got to show up. No explanation. I say, he needs a minyan. Where he's running. But the world needs the bang on the table. That's what it's waiting for. Rabbi say, Yisroel is the Holy Land. That's the end of the story. Finishing the Maimon. The whole purpose is to reveal godliness in the world. That's what we were chosen for. First by beginning by Hashem irradiating, illuminating his own soul. Now we end with a bracha. Beautiful blessing. And therefore, through this, it's drawn down. All that you need, he needs every yid. Al kol hashana for the whole year. It should be a year of life and enlivened. Lebedik means, translate lebedik, lively, a lively year. When a gesunte year and a healthy year, bebone with nachas and children, chaya, health, umazayin parnasa revich in abundance. Amen. So, guys who just joined, you got the tail end of the Maimer, but by divine providence. Okay, friends.